Good morning. And today, what dropped in is a personal experience, and what I'm going to share with you, this full moon, this lunar eclipse brought up in me some comfort food eating, some reaching for food, even if I wasn't extremely hungry, but then I was really hungry. Like, if you didn't notice, there's this whole connection between us and the moon and the water and the earth. But this is something that we have to learn for ourselves, how we're affected in every given moment, because we have to learn the language of our own bodies and the language of our own minds. That mind-body-soul connection, it's all encompassing. You can't just take one apart from the other, because one influences one another. So I caught myself reaching and wanting to eat and eat and eat. And I was very mindful and aware of it. And the thing that I've had to learn was also compassion and kindness with myself. Yes, in this moment, I know I'm eating because something is coming up. I know I'm eating because I'm reaching for food to make me feel comforted, right? If I feel the food in my body, it's soothing something, and I can sit with it, which I do, and ask, what is this trying to tell me in this moment? Am I really hungry? I can tell you my mind was saying, yes, I am. And then I didn't beat myself up about it either. I was just very considerate and compassionate for the circumstances. Okay, we have a full moon coming up. Clearly something is coming to surface for healing, and whatever that memory or that situation is, it will reveal itself. There's another story I want to share on top of this, because I feel it's relevant in addition, because I had been going through some physical pain after doing some pressure washing at my dad's. I was reminded of how back in 2007, I was working in Naples, Italy. I had gotten into someone's car and I had hit my head on those little, we called them the oh shit grips, the handles in the car was flapped down. So when I got in the car, my head went to one direction and then came over and hit it. And I felt this electric shock of pain go down my left side. My entire left neck, it literally felt like electricity. And I kind of dismissed it. The only reason I got in the car was I was offered a ride, and this person, I was a little agitated at the same time. So I went home after all of this and found that I woke up the next morning with the same tense feeling that was similar to the other day. And this was excruciating though. When I was in this pain in 2007, it was so bad that I couldn't turn my head to the left. I had sharp pain and numbness going down my entire left arm, along with numb fingers. This pointer finger on my left hand, it's still numb to this day, just a slight bit, but it has healed significantly. And the only times I notice that it acts up are when I have too much sugar or too many processed foods, because then it literally inflames and becomes tingly again. And that's one of the things that I learned, was how food started to affect me, but I didn't know it back in 2007. Back in 2007, I was drinking wine and I was working at a military installation, and the doctors give you anti-inflammatory medication. Here's what I learned. The body creates a healing environment by increasing the white blood cells. So it creates this buffer, which is what we see and know as inflammation. It's like the body has its own internal system of, like the doctors when they go into an operating room, your body does exactly the same thing. It knows exactly when, where, and how to do that. But in order to recognize it, we have to learn our body's language and tap into that wisdom, as opposed to ignore it and reach for other things to cover or mask or take care of it. So while I was in Italy during that time and this erupted, this happened, I went to the doctor. I had plenty of friends who said, oh, well, I had these injections done, and so the cortisone, it numbed the pain. And I was a little leery about it, but I was in so much pain, I wouldn't wish that pain on anyone. The fact that my neck was so stiff and it was hurting into my shoulder blades in between, and this left side, I couldn't, for months I wasn't sleeping on my left side. I had to prop my entire left side up with pillows. I asked the doctors, because they didn't have the injections that were guided to go into the cervical spine, for a referral on the Italian, in the Italian system, to an Italian doctor. It took months to even get that referral to a doctor, and when I finally received a phone call, it just so happened that the doctor was my neighbor, which is ironic because he lived in the same building. He lived 2 floors down from me. He was a neurological doctor. And when I sat with him in his office and he knew me, he said to me, I want you to understand that when we numb the nerve for however long that it lasts, you will not feel pain. And the reason for the nerve pain is the nerve pain is telling you the nerve is still alive. If you don't have that pain, you won't know it's in a healing mode. You won't know if you hurt yourself. So that if I give you this injection, down the road will be when you figure out if you've injured yourself more. Because all it does is it numbs it so you don't feel that sensation. It doesn't heal it, it doesn't fix it, and it can make it worse. And I was very grateful because I saw that as an opportunity, that the universe was protecting me, that I was not given the easy way of just get an injection. In fact, I was delayed so I could obtain this kind of knowledge, this wisdom, this awareness from somebody who knew me and was willing to share that with me. And I was extremely grateful. Because on the other hand, I was given steroids. I was taking them orally. I even administered my own steroidal injections along with B12 because it was so bad. And I wouldn't wish that pain on anybody. But the biggest lesson I took from that, because now I know so much more than I did back then, is that I didn't know about fasting. I didn't know about pharmaceuticals. I didn't know about how the alcohol I was drinking was contributing and making it worse. And that sugar is our biggest addiction, specifically because what do you think alcohol is? You don't have to be an alcoholic. Alcohol is processed sugar. It's the same thing. So if you're reaching for sugar and the alcohol, it actually damages the nerve sheath. And I didn't know that back then. So I learned this now, and it's really been a blessing to have gone through that experience, as painful as it was. I was on RawThentic and gabapentin. They said it was anti-inflammatory, and it was supposed to dull the nerve pain, and it was non-narcotic, but it had narcotic-like effects because I would watch my moods bubble up and get aggravated and angry and frustrated. I never acted out on it, but it was enough for me to recognize where I was. Today, if I knew back then what I know now, I would have fasted at least a couple days just to see if it made a difference. Back then, I was told I was so skinny because your body increases its metabolism to fight off and to heal. Because I was constantly eating. I've always had a very large appetite, voracious eater. My body was eating up so much because it was healing. My metabolism was increased. People looked at me and thought I was too skinny because that's where my body was in healing mode. I was walking around holding my arm. I was freezing in cold environments. It was really a difficult situation, and I wish I had known better. But I learned a lot even during that course. And I've learned a lot since then. How important it is to listen to your body's wisdom, to learn the language of your body. What is it speaking to you? Now, that was my personal experience. I don't expect everyone is going to have the same experience or be able to tolerate that amount of excruciating pain. Again, I would never wish it on anyone. But the truth is yours. How do you handle and react and respond to your body? It's speaking to you. It's speaking your language, not mine. Because the body is your temple, housing your soul. Are you going to treat it with love and compassion and kindness and devotion? Or are you going to ignore it? And all the wisdom and the signs that it's right there telling you everything you need to know. So that was what I wanted to share today, because sometimes we just want to feel good. But like I said the other day, we're not always going to feel good, but we got to be good at feeling and honoring every one of those feelings. It may be uncomfortable, but if you can sit with it, again, you're going to find the comfort. And even in the pain, there is relief. And so we start in the mind and we confront whatever we're going through, whether it be physical, emotional, or mental. So today, whatever you're feeling physically, emotionally, or mentally, ask yourself in this moment, place your right hand on your belly and your left on your heart. Go within and ask, what is it? What is this meant for me to know, to learn? What do I need to know in this moment? What is the blessing in this? And breathe into it and sit with it. Because it's only meant for you, nobody else. And no doctor, no other person can tell you what you need. Because that's for you. That's for your wisdom. Your experience is your gift. So, cards away. I hope you're all keeping warm and cozy. It's definitely chilly here in the Sunshine State. Here we go. And it rings true with the body too, because it's a matter of whether you're tapped into your head or your body. Things are not as they appear. The lower the price of your love, the higher its value. Brain freeze. Love the universe. Things are not as they appear. The lower the price of your love, the higher its value. The least expectation you hold, the more you'll be delighted. If you can be open and allowing, instead of holding and gripping onto whatever it is. And I feel that also in the body too. For the experiences I've had, the physical pain may appear to be one thing, but when I've dived deeper within, I've recognized, oh, look at that. It's not about the surface pain, it's about what's underlying it and what brought it to surface. And so, if you reduce your amount of expectations, you lower the price of your love, something in return, the higher its value. That's the true wisdom and being in love, being of love, is that there is nothing that you need to receive in response to the love that you just are. And so, I love you very much. Have an amazing day.